Ladies and gentlemen, this man James Gunn is now officially 7 for 7. I think it's time to start a dialogue as to why he's one of the greatest comic book movie directors of all time. I done said it once and I will say it again. Don't ever doubt my fucking GOAT James Gunn. So, Superman is an all-new Superman movie that is kicking off James Gunn's brand new DC universe. The film is written and directed by James Gunn, and it stars David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, Eddie Gathegi, Isabella Merced, and Nathan Fillion. When Superman gets drawn into conflicts at home and abroad, his actions are questioned, giving tech billionaire Lex Luthor the opportunity to get the Man of Steel out of the way for good. Now, from that plot alone, this sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon. And quite frankly, because it is. And that is a fantastic thing. About 3 years ago, it was announced that the DC Cinematic Universe was getting a reboot. To the announcement of James Gunn being the co-CEO of DC Studios, to the Phase 1 rollout, I was beyond stoked, and I still am. And here we are now with the first official film to kick off this brand new universe. And honestly, the DCU is looking mad bright. For the first time in forever, it feels like DC actually has a plan. DC is on the verge of making the ultimate comeback, and I'm all for it. There are a plethora of things that I want to discuss, but I'll keep it at a minimum. And by minimum, I mean like 10 to 12 minutes. David Cornsweet as the Man of Steel was astonishing. From his cadence, to his mannerisms, to his motives, this is Superman. He shows kindness, he shows heart, he is the light that shines in every room that he walks in. David Cornsweet 1000% understands the character. I know there's going to be people out there that will compare his Superman to Christopher Reeve, Tyler Hoechlin, and of course Henry Cavill. And I'm going to be honest, David Cornsweet is going in the top 3. Personally, my favorite Superman is Christopher Reeve because I was exposed to his movie at a young age. However, at some point in the future as the DCU continues, I can see myself putting David Cornsweet as my favorite Superman, but David Cornsweet was phenomenal and I can't wait to see more of him in the DCU. Rachel Brosnahan was marvelous as Lois Lane. Lois Lane is this ambition-driven, lovable, and confident character who you just have no choice but to love and respect. Rachel Brosnahan brings Lois Lane to life in a way that we haven't seen in forever. If I was being interviewed by her, I would be terrified because I know she's going to hit me with those gotcha questions and I'm going to fail and look like a fucking idiot. The chemistry between Clark and Lois in this movie is electrifying. The chemistry is fluid, the dialogue is fast and hilarious, and they both hold no punches. Out of all of the Cloises we've seen in live action and in animation, I think this is the perfect depiction of that relationship. That level of chemistry cannot be replicated. And if you look at their chemistry during the promo rollout for this movie, the way these two were acting, you would have thought they were fucking in real life. Their partners are some of God's strongest soldiers. You're gonna hear this a lot in a lot of people's reviews, but this movie feels like a true comic book movie. I know I've said that in the past a lot, but this is like literal peak comic book fiction. From the world of Metropolis, to the dialogue of Lex Luthor, to the Fortress of Solitude, to the world building, I feel like I am a part of this universe. And the world is just flourishing in colors and metahumans. I personally love the visuals. Yes, the visuals have a more campy feel to them, but I feel like given for this movie, it works and it makes sense. If anything, I think the visuals really complement the heart, the silliness, and the love of this world, and for the character of Superman. I liked what Zack Snyder did for Superman when it came to the flight sequences. Maybe not so much for the character, but I enjoyed the flight sequences. But listen, the flight sequences in this movie will make you think men can fly in real life. Seeing Superman take off and fly through the clouds has never been more satisfying. When he's flying, you feel like you're flying with him. And that camera work did those sequences so much justice. The camera work in this movie is on a whole nother level. The one-shot tracking shots were awesome, the panning shots were great, and the movie made shaky cam look amazing. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the shaky cam complemented the flight scenes. Whenever Superman is flying with a high sense of urgency, the camera is shaking as he's flying at such a high speed. I love how unstable the camera looks when he's flying at times. But those one-shot tracking scenes, peak, man. Just peak. And the action was incredible. When people are getting lasered, you feel that. When Superman's getting clocked upside his head, you also feel that. Every punch, every kick feels harder and harder as the film goes on. I really dug the music in this movie. When I heard that James Gunn was going to incorporate John Williams' theme into this movie, I had my concerns, but I think he did that timeless theme absolute justice. It's like he's paying homage to John Williams' score while also creating something new, yet familiar. I would be lying to y'all if I told you this soundtrack is not in my library. One thing about James Gunn is that he loves music. He knows how to tell a story through music, but in this movie there's not a lot of songs until the very end of the film. The entire supporting cast was fantastic, but let's be honest, the best characters out of the entire supporting cast was Krypto, Guy Gardner, and Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific was legitimately the MVP of the entire film. He's intelligent, he's calculated, he's a badass, his tech gadgets are awesome. So in other words, Mr. Terrific is a real ass nigga. If we get a Mr. Terrific movie, I will be there day one. Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner is honestly one of the funniest castings of all time. Guy Gardner is a literal goofball and an idiot, and Nathan Fillion plays him to a T. I love how he's so dumb and narcissistic, but yet you can't help but to like him. And of course, Krypto was great, as you would expect. So I know there was some chatter online about people complaining about Krypto's energy, and I just have to ask, have y'all been around dogs? Have you not been around a hyper-ass dog? Have you never dog-sitted? Matter of fact, have y'all even owned a dog? I'm a dog lover. I love dogs, but I have seen dogs that act like Krypto. So I don't know why people are mad about a dog acting like a dog. I don't know, man. Some of y'all are kind of exposing yourselves. There are some great emotional moments in this movie. That scene with Papa Kent and Clark almost brought a tear to my eye. I found myself getting choked up during that scene, and woof! And the emotional moments in this film are great when they're not bogged down by the humor. I love James Gunn, but I don't know what it is about him trying to implement humor into every single scene. If the humor works, then it works, but there are some moments where it's like, just let the emotional moments play out. We don't need a quirky joke every 5 seconds. There is a moment in this film that really could have been emotional and should have been emotional, but it was bogged down by the silly, typical James Gunn humor, which I do like personally, but it can grow tiresome. The guy is still a great writer, but I feel like he would be in the top 5 if he wasn't so keen on putting humor in certain emotional scenes. I knew the cast of this film was going to be huge, but I was really worried that it would affect the quality of the film. And while it did not affect the quality of the film, I still gotta point out, there are way too many characters in this movie. There are times where this film feels like a Superman movie, and there are times where it feels like this is a Superman and Friends movie. However, I do believe in the third act, all of the character plot lines tied in nicely for the most part. Now listen, Isabella Merced is an incredible actress, no doubt about it, but I feel like she really did nothing in this movie. I feel like her character Hawkgirl was kind of just there. If you took Hawkgirl out this movie, the film would still be the same. I want to see more of her in the future of the DCU, don't get me wrong, but I feel like her contribution to this movie was below a minimum. I don't know if it's just me, but did anyone else feel like the Ultraman reveal was kind of predictable? I mean, you can see that coming from like a mile away, I'm not gonna lie. I had a feeling that was gonna be the case, and I was really hoping I was wrong. Unfortunately, I was right. And Lex Luthor, I'm not gonna lie to you, I rocked with his character, but I feel like he was a little too one-dimensional for my taste. His hatred alone for Superman gets him up in the morning. Granted, I'll cut Lex Luthor some slack because this is a younger, more hot-headed version, and also I am a Nicholas Hoult fan. But I'll tell you this, I'd rather have the Lex Luthor that is a one-dimensional D1 hater than the guy that was pissing in jars. My last issue with this movie, and it's kind of a nitpick, in fact, I think it's a super nitpick now that I think about it. I wish that Superman had made the choice to be Earth's protector instead of it being like his parents' goal for him, you know what I mean? But I do wish that as he landed on planet Earth and grew to love and appreciate the planet and humanity, he made the choice on his own to become Earth's protector. Not a big deal, but that's just something I was like, I wasn't a fan. But it didn't ruin my experience. But in the end, guys, I loved Superman. Yes, of course, the film has its flaws, but I don't think those flaws are enough to really ruin my experience. It's fun, it's lovable, it's got heart, it's got dope ass action, and it truly shows how big and bright the future of the DCU is. As someone who loves comic book movies and Superman, this film is a love letter to comic book movie lovers, comic books as a whole, and of course, the character of Superman. So, plugging Superman into the rank system, I am placing this one into the pinnacle zone. And no, I am not being biased. No, I am not a shill. No, I am not being paid for this review. I genuinely loved Superman, and James Gunn fucking gets it. But yeah, y'all, that is pretty much my review for Superman. Let me know down in the comments section below what you guys thought about the film. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What is your favorite Superman film of all time? And who is your favorite Superman? Whatever you thought, let me know down in the comments section below. And as always, guys, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And I will see you all in the next one.